Good.
Everybody good.
Welcome, Yamhill County, to Speaking Frankly. I'm your host, Howie Harkema, and our tagline is, "And How We Doin'." Today I have three fantastic guests with me. First is Samantha Kinney, who's a Yamhill County Public Health, Community Health, and Wellness Coordinator. Welcome, Samantha.
Thank you.
And we have Sarah Norwood, who is the principal at Willamina Elementary School. Sarah, nice to have you with us.
Thank you, Howie.
And we have the amazing Patricia Rhodes, who's the third grade teacher at Willamina Elementary as well.
Hi, how are you?
Very good. Thank you for all being here today. And our topic of the day is PAX Good Behavior Game 2016 and 17. And so our first question goes to Samantha. And what is PAXIS?
PAXIS is a research institute located in Arizona, providing evidence-based intervention programs throughout the United States, also in Canada and throughout the world.
That's amazing. And I've watched some of their videos on their website, and there's some amazing videos of some of the changes that have gone on through this game. And so, Sarah and Patricia, what is the PAX Good Behavior Game?
The PAX Good Behavior Game is a game that goes on while teaching and learning is occurring in the classroom. Students and the teacher preset what they would like to see in their classroom environment. PAX stands for peace, and they create a sense of what peace looks like. And during the teaching and learning, they practice what peace looks like, and if they do, they are rewarded with the things that they want to do, the impulse control that they're practicing so hard, they get a chance to let that out at the end.
Right, with granny wacky prizes.
So, Patricia, would you like to add anything else to that?
Well, the rewards that they get are granny wacky prizes, which are just fun little 30-second games that they get to play, tapping their pencils on the table, rolling around the floor like worms, yeah, making animal noises. That one's always fun because all the teachers hear you. So,
So all the animals in the zoo.
in the zoo, yeah, it's very fun. They love it.
So, Samantha, who is Dr. Dennis Embry?
Dr. Dennis Embry is a senior scientist and president of PAX Institute and a co-investigator with Johns Hopkins Center for Prevention, as well as seeing over 50 major prevention projects in the United States and Canada. He has personally created multiple interventions using both cultural wisdom and leading cutting-edge science to prevent multiple health problems in our communities. He is one of the few scientists to demonstrate such prevention scientifically across the states, communities, and countries.
So he's really a developer of programs.
Yes.
And that's an amazing thing unto itself, because he has to have a social and psychological background to be able to do that kind of work. And it's amazing some of the things that we're going to get to witness here. So, Patricia, there are some strange words in this program. What is a toodle?
So a toodle is a paper that we fill out for students, or a student will fill it out for another student, or a teacher to a teacher. It's for the whole community of the school, and it's about positive things that are happening. Oh, I saw you looking like a PAX leader today because you were quiet in line, or you really did your work, or you're just a great person. You really helped the classroom with your positive attitude.
So it's a positive feedback.
Yes, but on paper, and then we have a bulletin board
Right.
where we put it up, and the parents get to see it because it's sent home, and the kids get to see it, and it makes them feel great.
And some of the toodles are actually written for the parents.
Yes, kids will send home toodles to their parents. I'll send home toodles to parents.
So I have a couple other questions for you, Patricia. What is a spleen?
Well, so
Not to be confused with spleen.
So when we play the good behavior game, there are 2 words that we use. We have a spleen, and a spleen is a predetermined thing that they don't want to see happen when we're learning. Maybe they say, you know, we really need to be quiet when Mrs. Rhodes is teaching. So if I have a student in one of the groups who is talking, I'll just say group or spleen group 2. That way I'm not singling out any student. It's, you know, it's not, Johnny, you sit down and be quiet. It's spleen team 2. They self-correct, and that just lets the kids know in a positive way that they need to change their behavior.
That's very cool. So what is a kernel?
That's yours.
Kernel. Kernels are the little pieces of the game.
Okay.
Okay.
So defining what a PAX leader is and what that looks like is a kernel of the game. The kernels are the little things that you introduce to the class, and the little pieces and parts that go along with the game.
I see.
Like the playing of the harmonica to get the class's attention, the countdowns. Let's see if you can get in line quietly within 10 seconds. Each one of these things, it's introduced singularly, and then at the end the game is put together so that the kids can put everything together and play the game.
So the next question I had was, what part does the harmonica play in this program?
So it's wonderful. So the harmonica, instead of going, may I have your attention please, and having the kids have to get quiet, you play the harmonica. I do it. I do 3 notes on it, and they do PAX quiet, which is they raise their hand in PAX, they stop talking, they stop what they're doing, and they look at the person playing the harmonica. So it's a wonderful way to get the class totally quiet and focused.
Could you also tell us some of the other granny wacky prizes that they might get?
Well, we go outside and we write with chalk for a minute on the sidewalks, or we will be, they will get to play hangman for 1 minute.
I walked into her classroom one time, and she said, Mrs. Norwood, I need your help. All of the students were laying on the floor, and the idea was to try and get them to giggle. So they had to stay as quiet as they could and try not to giggle, and we had to walk around and try to make them giggle for 30 seconds or a minute.
That one's called Graveyard. They love that one. Yeah. So,
How perfect is that? So Samantha and Sarah, how did this program come about in Yamhill County and specifically at Willamina School District?
Yeah, well, in 2015, Yamhill Community Care Organization invested into upstream preventative programs. And through that investment, they contracted with Dr. Tony Bigling from Oregon Research Institute. He's a preventative scientist, also really close friends of Dr. Dennis Embry, and he proposed a variety of preventative programs to be implemented in Yamhill County. And through there, our Yamhill Community Care Organization board agreed on various different preventive programs, and one of them was the Good Behavior Game. And through there, we proposed at the Early Learning Council this program, and Willamina was one of the schools that took on the program.
And there's other school districts that are also doing this as well, right? So Sarah, did you have anything to add to that from your end as the principal?
No, we have a teacher who's a member of the Early Learning Council, and we participate in the meetings with the YCCO.
Yeah, right next door.
Yep. And it was all the programs were introduced to us, and this was one that sounded like it was a solution to some of the needs that we were seeing in our classrooms.
Yes.
I put it out to all the teachers and staff. Would you like to implement this year, pilot it, see how it goes? And our third grade picked it up and said, "Yep, that's us. We're gonna do this."
Perfect.
Yep.
So this year it's third grade.
This year it is third grade. Yes.
So when did you start or implement this program in Yamhill County, Samantha?
Yeah, so it started this year as the pilot year, and the training happened in October 2016 to the 3 school districts. I was hired on board in November as the good behavior game coordinator to help coordinate this program and help with training, as well as allowing as a county working with other counties on the Good Behavior Game Initiative in Oregon.
Very cool. And you get to go out and observe some of this as well.
Yes, I do, which is one of the most rewarding parts of this program, is to go into the classrooms and seeing this change.
So, Andrew and Paul, would you please trigger the PAX video, please?
Hello, I'm Dennis Embry. I'm president of PAX's Institute and the senior scientist here, and it's a pleasure to be speaking to you. The mission of PAX is for students to learn how to create a better world, and for us as adults to support them in that journey. PAX is a powerful tool for children to use internally with themselves, with their peers, and with the adults in their environment to create a nurturing environment that helps their entire mind and brain grow toward the things that they authentically, truly want to do in the world. When PAX is introduced to children, most of the children are excited and hopeful and interested in something that for them it seems like they might have sort of superpowers at being able to better the world.
Annabelle, which picture did you draw?
Fun.
How are you a PAX leader in this picture, Annabelle?
Well, helping somebody so they won't get hurt and so they won't fall down. And I stopped and I was running. I saw somebody fall down and somebody pushed them. And I picked them up and I helped them.
There'll always be a few children who were standoffish. I don't know. I'm not sure I trust the adults to do something. So those wary children will wait until they start to see it work. And most importantly, they'll wait to see if you as an adult are authentic about the purpose, rather than using PAX as some trick to control them in ways that they find aversive. PAX is in fact teaching self-regulation, co-regulation, and group regulation for a bigger purpose that we want our students, our children, our future leaders to understand that they have power to create peace, productivity, health, and happiness in their lives. Once they understand that, they're in with you on this PAX journey. PAX is amazingly easy in many ways to learn, but not exactly. Consider when we first learned to ride a bicycle. We're klutzy. I ran into the wall, but I did learn not to do that again, and I learned how to put on the brake. I learned how to steer the bike. I learned how to watch the traffic and plan where I wanted to go. And I learned how to be steady on the bicycle. That's a little bit like PAX. You have to go out and apply it, and at first you'll feel wobbly. Did I do that right? Well, get up and do it again, and the next time it will be better. It's not a curriculum. It's a daily pattern of living and loving and having laughter and learning with your children. What is PAX not? PAX is not a classroom discipline program. PAX doesn't have sticker charts. It doesn't have clip charts. It doesn't involve humiliation. It doesn't involve reprimands and sending the child to the principal's office or notes home about the disappointment and the difficulties that a child had in the classroom. All of those kinds of consequential punishment things are not part of PAX. PAX is growing the child's mind rather than humiliating or berating the child's behavior.
I feel like the good behavior game is my main source of classroom management. I don't find the need to have other kinds of systems that I'm using because they are doing what they need to do in the game. They're working as a team, so it's working on those team skills. And it allows me to just teach. Before PAX and before the good behavior game, I probably spent half of my classroom instruction time managing my students. And now with the good behavior game, I can teach, and I can teach for the whole time. And I know that my students are getting what they need, and they're still having fun at the same time. So it's definitely changed the amount of time I get to teach, and so it's really the only thing I need.
PAX is needed in the world because 1 out of 2 of every American children will have a mental, emotional, or behavioral disorder by age 18. Now, that number has been climbing steadily for the past 20 years. And now we have the practical science that can, in fact, turn that curve now rapidly so that our children have a more positive, normal, healthy development.
Once a student understands themselves and understands how to self-regulate in the classroom, oftentimes those students that may be those that you stereotypically think of as being ADHD, that is a diagnosis that I think is loosely used often throughout the United States. And we have kindergartners who come in, we have students that come in from a variety of backgrounds, and to teach them self-regulation and understanding themselves in order to focus and stay focused in the classroom really reduces the need to go down the path for identification, because a lot of times that's what the students lack is that ability to self-regulate in order to attend to a task in a timely manner or stay on task for a certain amount of time. So with that said, that has reduced the number of students going through the RTI process, because this has been a building-wide system that we put in place to address student needs and help them focus in the classroom.
I think PAX changed my life because, it helps people do what they're supposed to. And then, in kindergarten, when I first started out, it was hard because I was like, oh, I thought this is going to be, hard for me. And then when I actually came to kindergarten, and then I kept building my knowledge, and PAX helped me because it helped me pay attention and build my knowledge. So then now, when I'm in 3rd grade, it helps because it helps you pay attention doing math and reading and science and social studies and stuff like that. And it helps you be able to know more.
The short-term benefits of PAX are an immediate ability for children to learn to pay attention and to work harder on the tasks that are important to you and to them. They begin to see many problematic behaviors that are annoying them individually or collectively during the day. You get to notice that as well. You will feel a difference in your voice. You will go home a bit more relaxed, and you will enjoy your children and your classroom much more right away. The long-term effects of PAX, starting in adolescence, are a reduction in initiation of virtually every substance: tobacco, alcohol, illegal drugs, marijuana. In addition, the experience of bullying has gone down dramatically. And most importantly, one of the most lasting effects that begins to bloom powerfully in adolescence is that friendship networks are much more pro-social, much more reinforcing, and less filled with cuts and put-downs and bullying and all those kinds of things, which really cut to the soul of an adolescent trying to emerge as self and have an identity of purpose in the world.
Hello, my name is Danny Carrillo. I'm a junior in high school, and my heritage is Hispanic. And so my parents come from Mexico, from both the city of Michoacan, and I've been PAX leader for a couple years now, since 6th grade. First, to start off, PAX is really effective, and how they should use it is they should use it as a way to not change the way their kids are, but change the way they think. And so they should change not really the kids who they are inside, because who they really are is what kind of defines the kids. And so PAX just refines like the good kid in everyone.
Now that begins also to translate that the children are doing much, much better in school. They will need less special services. Depression goes down. And for those of us who have seen the rise of suicidality in adolescence and young adulthood, that is one of the most important things that goes down with PAX, is suicidal thinking and actual suicide attempts. As they enter into young adulthood, we see that they complete school, graduate from high school. They are less likely to have high-risk sex, which could result in pregnancy. They're more likely to graduate from high school and enter university. Most importantly, for those of us hoping for the future, their lifetime income substantially increases, because now they're more productive taxpayers and they are far less likely to be incarcerated or on unemployment or disability. Thank you for your interest in the PAX Good Behavior game and what it does for teachers, for students, for families, and communities. This is a journey for all of us to make the world a better place. And your inquiry and interest and application of PAX is part of that journey. The journey also involves feedback from you, the children and families and communities that help us make this better. We are constantly tweaking and making this more effective, more powerful, to create more peace, productivity, health, and happiness for the future of all of us. Thank you so much.
So, after watching that video, we don't have to ask all the balance of these questions. We can free ourselves up a little bit. So, I'd like to know, though, what kinds of changes in the students that you've seen so far at Willamina Elementary School since implementation?
We've seen a huge positive change with our third graders. Significantly fewer office referrals. In fact, I rarely see third graders anymore in the office for negative behavior. In fact, I have to go seek them out just to see how they're doing.
Still there.
Yeah, are you still here? We did a March behavior just kind of tracking, and by far our third graders were the fewest office referrals. We started taking note of how many recess incidents there were at third and fourth grade, and finally we just quit counting because they went for weeks with not one incident. And they have more self-regulation, they have the impulse control, they're very much aware of their surroundings and what they're doing.
And they feel good about it too.
Yeah.
They're so proud of themselves that they have great behavior. They walk down the hall, and you don't know this, but we try to always be the quietest class going by Mrs. Norwood's office, because they want her to know what great PAX leaders they are.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, it's exciting.
So in your school district, this program was implemented for the third grade class only. What kinds of overflow do you see into the other grade levels?
There's a lot of curiosity.
Yeah.
I heard one story. Our computer lab and our library are next to each other with open walls. And a third grade teacher, 2 third grade classrooms were in there, and a third grade teacher came into the technology lab and she blew the harmonica to get her class quiet. And the class over in the library heard it as well and did the same thing, even though the teacher wasn't trying to get their attention. And the specialist, how did you do that? So there's a lot of curiosity because they're seeing the benefits. They're seeing that this is something that's working and they want to do it too.
Well, that brings me to the next question. What are the long-term benefits of implementing this program?
Well, they had, in the video, they showed some statistics about it.
Right.
They have done a lot of research, fewer, office referrals, fewer children needing special ed services. I can't think of all of them off. I mean, it's a huge
Lower dropout rate.
yes.
Sure. So what are the health benefits of implementing this good behavior game?
Yeah, during research, Dr. Dennis Emery worked with Johns Hopkins, and they did a long-term control study on the good behavior game. And through that, they've identified first graders as the intervention, and they did a control. And they tracked these children all the way to 11th grade. And through that research, they identified a wealth of health benefits. They're less likely to engage in risky behavior, such as using drugs or alcohol. They're more likely to graduate, which will build them for success in the future. They have less likely to also engage in having a sexually transmitted disease or early pregnancies down the road. And they have an increased benefit of mental health. And so suicide rates are decreased with the intervention as well as behavior problems.
So how is Linfield College involved in this program, Samantha?
Yes. So in February of this year, Dr. Dennis Emery and Dr. Tony Bigling, they did a community forum at Linfield College to really engage and communicate to the community what the good behavior game was. And we had two psychology professors, Dr. Tanya Tompkins and Dr. Jennifer Linder there, and they were so intrigued and they were interested in what our schools are doing. And they wanted to be a part of this wonderful initiative. And through that, it allows experience for their psychology interns to have clinical experience. And in the past couple months, I have 6 interns that I supervise and coordinate and provide training. And we've done 2 classroom observations, one at Willamina and one at Falcom Chapman, and counting spleens to see if behaviors have decreased since the implementation of the program. It's been a wonderful experience, and they also are going to be conducting a focus group on the teachers at the Tutor Award ceremony coming up on June 9th. And it's going to be really engaging on the culture change and environmental change, and also seeking information about how our PAX team at Yamhill County can provide better technical assistance to our teachers.
That's fantastic. So as a parent, Sarah, what outcomes do you see at home from this behavioral program?
I was very fortunate. My own children don't go to Willamina, but they go to another school in Yamhill County who's also doing the PAX Good Behavior Game. So I get to see the positive changes as an administrator and then as a parent myself. My daughter is very shy. She's always been very introverted and reserved. And each year it takes her a little bit longer to come out of her shell. This year I've noticed, especially with the PAX Good Behavior Game, she brings home toodles. She's become incredibly social. She's making friends easily, and the toodles are all over our refrigerator. She brings them home from her friends and from her teachers. She's been recognized as a problem solver in her school. So I feel like it's really provided her with those skills and that positive self-esteem to come out of her shell.
So we have about 1 minute left. So what are the expectations and outcomes regarding this program that you see for the future of your elementary school, but also for the elementary schools across Oregon?
My hope is that this provides kids with the skills necessary for social emotional learning, which is something that we don't often focus on in the classroom.
And parents don't always have time for that.
Right. It's mostly academics, and we're finding that the kids aren't coming in with those social emotional skills, and this provides them with those skills.
Yeah. And Patricia, anything that you'd like to add to the expectations since you're the pilot?
Well, it's just so exciting to play the game and have the kids respond so positively. And we're looking at possibly a full school implementation next year. And I personally just can't wait to hear what it's going to be like to hear a harmonica go off and 5 classrooms down, they're going with their hands in PAX and being quiet and really encouraging all of the other kids in the classrooms.
Really quickly, Samantha, anything you'd like to add?
I'm looking forward to expanding this throughout all school districts in Yamhill County, where this community has a more nurturing environment so we can build our future generations up.
So thank you, Samantha.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you, Howie.
Thank you, Patricia.
Thank you.
And thank you for watching Speaking Frankly. And we're really appreciative that you keep watching. This is our 110th episode. And get behind the PAX program, Good Behavior Game, and look at it online if you get a chance. Paxis.org or PAX Good Behavior Game on Facebook, or Yamco Watch on Facebook locally. Thank you for watching today.